Hello everyone, and welcome to my review for Monster Hunter World. So a little disclaimer before we get into the review. This is my first Monster Hunter game, so I obviously can't compare it to any of the others. So keep that in mind. This is from a noob's perspective. And just for reference, I'm 48 hours into the game. I can easily see this being a game that I could dump 100 hours into, like easy. I'm probably thinking more like 200 or 300 hours. So I'm about halfway through the main story campaign. Just got into high rank, so I feel like I have a pretty good handle on the game to be able to accurately review it. So let's get into it. So Monster Hunter World, it's a bit of a dichotomy. The main gameplay loop is fairly simple. You hunt monsters, you harvest materials from said monster to craft better gear, to then be able to hunt even more powerful monsters. But Monster Hunter is also, I would say, anything but simple. It's extremely complex, deeply tactical. It'll have you spending hours learning the patterns and abilities and weaknesses of each monster. Monster Hunter really rewards players that take the time to prepare and to plan and to strategize and research their target before actually engaging. Now, when I was trying to think of how to describe the feeling that I get from this game, like when all of my planning and skills have paid off and I finally slain the foe that I'm after, I remember the now infamous Reddit post, and I'm sure you guys know which one I'm talking about. The EA post, where they basically said, "We want our players to feel a sense of pride and accomplishment." Yeah, you know that one? Well, here's the game that actually does that. And as a bonus, it's sold as a complete game with no loot boxes or microtransactions, and free updates have already been announced. To be honest, it almost feels like a crime to have only paid $60 for it, especially with the way games are nowadays. So when I first sat down with the game, I'll have to admit I was really frustrated with the controls. Immediately I thought these are just bad controls, but after playing the game for so long, I realized that the controls are exactly the way they're supposed to be, and that this is the way the game is supposed to play. And it's kind of hard with the fast-paced Western gaming brain that we all have now. It's just so used to everything happening almost instantly. It's just really jarring to not have that instantaneous weapon switching. Everything from using items to sheathing your weapon to dodging as an animation that the character has to complete before moving on to the next action that you want to perform. It can be frustrating at times, but it's also very realistic. You never feel like a superhuman god, like all-powerful character in this game. You're feeble, weak, tiny little human being that's literally fighting dragons the size of mountains. So you better plan your item swapping or your potion drinking at the right time, or else you're going to get destroyed. And even the upgraded armor doesn't make you feel very powerful. You may just die in 2 hits instead of 1. You really have to be 100% focused to play this game. Don't try and play this game when you're tired. I know, you will get destroyed. It can be brutally hard. The fact that it's so hard, though, is one of the positive aspects, at least to me. I feel that many of the games nowadays, especially these looty, grindy type games, which Monster Hunter is, they just take no skill whatsoever. You know, they're more about how much time you have to play them and less about how good you are. A lot of these games have nearly lost what makes them fun. Like, people aren't really playing them for fun anymore. They're playing them because they feel like they've invested so much time that if they stopped, then it would be a waste of their time. And a lot of these games are, I feel like, holding people hostages. Thankfully, that's not the case with Monster Hunter. I'm sure there's some superhuman player that could make it through the whole game with just the starting armor, but for the majority of us, we're going to be playing through the game and grinding and upgrading because it's rewarding. The game's actually fun to play, and at the end of the day, that's what really matters. I mean, they're called games for a reason. Alright, so I know that was a bit of a long intro. Just wanted you guys to get a sense of my overall feelings about the game. But now we will move on to the more technical side of it. So I guess we'll start off here with graphics. It looks pretty good. There was definitely some times where I was like oohing and awing over the sunsets and the environments. It's not like gonna blow your mind. Given the fact it's running on a pretty dang old engine, I think it's actually pretty impressive what the team has done with it. Also, this is the first major console release since the PS2 for the Monster Hunter team, and I think it's really impressive. The environments feel like living, breathing ecosystems. There is a bit of washed out colors here and there and some noticeable like checkerboard like rendering when moving the camera around really fast. So it's nothing major, however the performance can take a bit of a hit. It's kind of hit or miss, especially depending on the weapons you're using. Like the frame rates are pretty stable with the bow, for example, but when I use the insect glaive and the particle effects are just exploding all over the screen, the frame rate takes a noticeable hit, even on the PS4 Pro with the frame rates prioritized, which is the way I've been playing it, and I think is really the only way to play this game. It was noticeable. I can't say how far the frame rate drops, but it seems to be like into the 20s for like a second or two. Like I said, it doesn't really happen as much with the bow. At least I don't really notice it. As far as sounds and animations go, these are really top-notch. The monsters sound terrifying. They look amazing, and they really do have a great sense of scale. My only gripe is the clipping. The monsters do clip into a lot of stuff. But overall, the animations are pretty solid. As far as the voice goes, the voiceovers are, I would say, good, but the lip syncing is hilariously bad. Now, I was prepared for this because this is a Japanese game. It's a minor thing, obviously, but it does kind of take you out of the immersion. Overall, there's not really a lot of voiceovers. So, like I said, you can't really like nitpick at it because there's not a lot really that's actually there. Most of the time you're just reading a bunch of text on the screen, which I just skip through because I want to get to what's really the meat and bones of Monster Hunter, and that of course is the gameplay. So lastly, the story, it's just okay. It's not great, it's not terrible, like I said, I mostly just skipped through it. But what I really did enjoy was the monster's introduction cutscenes. Like each monster has its own cutscene, and those are done really well. I really like those. So, in conclusion, I think it's great. However, this is not a game for everyone. If you're new to the franchise, be prepared to throw everything you've learned about games out the window. Getting to grips with this game is like learning to walk again. But I guarantee you, if you do it, you will be filled with a sense of pride and accomplishment. So in the end, guys, I'm going to give Monster Hunter a 9 out of 10. So that pretty much wraps up this review, guys. I know I probably missed some stuff. There is over 40 monsters in the game, and even after 48 hours, I've killed probably about 15 of them. And there's even monsters that I've seen online and in other people's videos that I haven't even seen in the game yet. Plus, there's monsters that are in the game that I can't take on because I'm still too low of level. So there's still a lot for me to unlock. Still a lot of secrets and like lots of elder dragons and stuff. I haven't even killed a single elder dragon yet, I don't think. But anyway, even after 48 hours, I absolutely can't wait to get back into Monster Hunter and get to slaying some bigger monsters so that I can see what awaits. So I hope you guys like this video. If you agree with it, give it a thumbs up. If you disagree with it, give it a thumbs down. And of course, I will talk at you guys later.